What's up, everyone? Welcome to the weekly report 47th. I apologize for the lateness of the video, but we've had obviously change of scenery, some stuff moving around, but there's a lot to get into, so we kind of want to hop to. In terms of boycott update, boycott's still going on, but there has been a response, so we definitely want to talk about that a little bit. For the most part, most players are still not spending. It's not good enough, but it is something. It's something that we've been asking for. So let's kind of, well, I was going to cover the sneak peek, but I mean, you should see the sneak peek by now, to be honest. It isn't, it's somewhat revealing of the character, but the character's in game. It's not really the point. It's not really all that important to kind of see it. But what I do want to talk about is the developer note from October, even though we're literally in November. Nobody really knows what's going on in terms of dates. But so here we got essentially them thanking us, great, whatever. They addressed the no world boss as being, the rewards being too small for the difficulty of the level itself. And that's completely understandable. It's something that we've complained about a lot. It's kind of a trending thing in the game itself, is that it never seems to have enough rewards. So what's thankfully about this one is that they're actually going to guarantee some stuff. We'll talk about it a little bit in the actual update itself. They're going to increase the amount of rank 1 blanket antimatter as well as the Chaos Nordstones. So that's going to be worth it to some degree, but they also do a small carrot in the CCF, which I don't think is enough. But we'll talk about that a little bit more. Coming out of left field, off the off-speed pitch, the squad battle rewards are actually going to change as well. They're going to increase the awakening crystals and the Mandalay gem fragments, which, I mean, nobody was really asking for it, but we kind of knew that it was imbalanced. A lot of folks were getting certain things more than the others and caught up quite dramatically. So that's a nice increase. That update is also live, so if you haven't done your squad battle, now is the time to do it. I would say hold off if it wasn't there yet, but now that you're getting 40 per round, it's pretty worth it to kind of do, and we'll take a look at it in game as well. But this is rather interesting, this Alliance Conquest. It's a lot of, I'm not entirely sure what exactly is happening because a lot of it is speculative, right? They're talking about a new league, that they've had a plan for the new league. It looks like it might be a new system that is rewarding for high-end players, top tier players, which kind of is like, well, what's the point of us doing it? And is it really going to satisfy the wants and needs of the whole player base? It's kind of odd that they would throw this in here. It's not something, again, not something that we've talked about very often, but why is it here, right? Same is true for the timeline battle. We've known that timeline battle has been on the docket of something that they needed to change. They also wanted to add here they're talking about adding a new league. So it's definitely worth considering, but again, not stuff that we really talked about in terms of what we want changes in terms of the boycott. The boycott is literally about the CTP system, the reforging system that it is, and the card rolling system. Those two things are not addressed in this at all. They tell us to please share our suggestions and content. So we're going to do that. I would encourage you to 1-star review and all of that in the Google Play Store as well as the Apple App Store. Hit those places. I see all the comments on the videos and stuff like that, so that's definitely going to be worth it. Definitely something that grabs their attention, right? Because like this timeline battle and conquest, you can change them all you want, but it's not something that we're really talking about. We want to talk about the CTP reforging program as well as the card rolling program. That's not, I mean, they talk about it being wanting to give an advantage to the players to make it fun. What's the quote here? It's we certainly plan for the update with the intention of helping our agents enjoy Marvel Future Fight more. How? By spending thousands of dollars to roll additional gear for stuff that we already had? I don't think that's fun. I don't think that's enjoyable. What I find fun is the character building, and I didn't get any of that this time around. So that's kind of the, sure, I got, you know, Scream, but that's what, one. And it's certainly not a removal of the crystal spend from equipping Uru, Obelisk, and stuff like that. Things that I actually enjoyed doing, the changing of the character itself. So I may be a little slow to be honest. I may be a little slow to upgrade, update, and put out videos and content because the game is pretty lackluster. But let's actually look at the update, the patch notes that they actually did release. So the patches here, patches about Carnage getting his tier 3, obviously on the hunt for Null, all of that. Patch has been completed, patch is now in game, it was loaded up and there. So let's take a look at the details that we have about his tier 3. He looks relatively strong comparatively to, you know, where he is obviously before. This 30% chance to increase critical damage and by 100% of critical attack, that's actually going to go over your 200%. So that's why he's probably going to hit as hard as like Namor or something like that. It's insane, to be honest. It essentially makes him just as strong, or if not stronger, than Namor. He does lose the healing that he the invincibility that he had before. I believe it was on maybe on his 3rd skill. Moved to a damage a guard against a guard hit, yeah, of 5. 8, yeah, a guard hit of 8. They actually moved his invincibility, moved that invincibility to the skill 5. Lots of defense down, lots of moving parts. For the most part, it looks like it should be good, right? A lot of accumulation, defense down, has some invincibility in there, has a guard hits, has bumps to crit rates, as well as some stuff for ABX. So we'll see. They're still playing around with this paralyze and this bleed damage. Nobody cares. Nobody's actually utilizing bleed in that sense. So that's kind of odd that they would put that here and then not really do much about it. But for the most part, again, he looks good, looks strong from early play tests that I've seen from other content creators putting out stuff. Obviously stays combat type, stays a villain. Very, very high damage, very, very low survivability, which is pretty typical of rest of the folks from this update. If you look at his tier 3 skill as it kind of rotates here, to be honest, it looks a lot like Black Bolt. I kind of feel like they just copied the whole animation, which is kind of disappointing, to be honest. I wanted Carnage to have a little bit more stuff. I only unlocked him as a Dimension Mission character, so he's a 1-star character now. I don't know. The uniform looks great. The absolute Carnage uniform looks fantastic in game, and I'll show you that if you haven't seen it yet. But it's not enough to, I don't know, we'll have to wait and see, because it's not enough right off the bat to just upgrade the character, spend all those resources in order to get him up as a free-to-play player. Also worthy of note, well, I guess it's worthy of note, Silk got her potential awakened. But again, no new uniform, kind of the Elsa Bloodstone treatment, so it's kind of, is that even worth it? So let's circle around back to where we were talking about in terms of World Boss and Null. In terms of his rounds, he will guarantee CCF 2 to 4, so a maximum of or essentially a minimum of 10 and a maximum of 20, which again, that's so piddly, that's so small comparative to how many tier 3s we're putting out. Like this update alone, 2 tier 3s now, 2 or 3 awakened characters. Like, what, is that enough? Are we even close? This is a nice upgrade. Essentially 500 black antimatter is a potential to get. So that's pretty solid. That's a good solid amount. But again, like, what's up with the CCF, right? And that's if you can complete Null with 5 kills, because every single time he requires at least 3 awakened or tier 3 characters for every round. So if you don't have a super deep roster, you're not really getting a whole lot of that advantage. Everything that they have here should be essentially multiplied by 10. Instead of 4 guaranteed at 20 maximum, should be 200, to be honest. Like, this is so piddly. But squad battle changes that we were talking about, here's what it is for the daily participation at every round. Before it was 15, now it's 19. It's a good balance. The league rewards also get a nice bump of 210. And the squad battle round 2 rewards, all leagues essentially get around 40. So it'll be interesting whether or not they address the chest. They haven't really talked about that. It doesn't show up anywhere, so we'll have to wait and see what those chests crack out to kind of show. Here's where they address the reforging in CTP, but they really let players know that already use the CTP system that they're going to be reissuing that CTP that they already used. So in order to get the CTP into a mighty CTP, you have to use one of the same CTP to get there. So they're just saying that they're whatever transcendence you used, you're gonna have to, you'll get one back in your inventory, is basically all they said. Other than that, that's really about all they did to address the boycott itself. It's kind of unfortunate, to be honest, because there's just not a whole lot of stuff. Let's flip over in game so I can kind of show you some of the stuff that we were talking about. So here we are in game. Here's that Carnage uniform that I was talking about. That is new. Interesting to note, if you look at the China server, it's all black. It's all shadowy because they can't show gore in game, which if you've seen it around, it looks kind of funny. But like I say, it looks strong, looks very, very powerful, but it's whether or not he will be able to survive, so we'll have to kind of see. In terms of the roster, we're now sitting at 10,900 crystals for Black Friday. Yes, save your crystals. Don't spend your crystals, even if you like Carnage. Just wait for the... I mean, we're literally a week away, right? To save 125 crystals per uniform that you buy. I think it's worth it at that point. In terms of the roster changes, I did unlock A-Bomb. Finally got the last 2 bios for him. I did take him all the way up to tier 2 simply because he will be a support for Hulk whenever I get that uniform. Like I said, on Black Friday. I did finally finish Nova. Took him finally to tier 2. Finished that Shield Academy requirement. So got that one out of the way. I will be probably taking him up to 64 once I unlock his potential here. I literally just did it. So we'll have to take him up to 64 at least, if not a little bit higher. We'll kind of see. I decided that Final Vel will also get 64, take up to 64, and then Scream will probably take up to 64 as well. So lots of potential to unlock, lots of good stuff. In terms of what we're looking for this week, let me flip it into in-game, because like Cosmic Core event, we kind of know that pretty thoroughly now. Not a whole lot is new. Same rewards as always. Unfortunately, I haven't rolled anything good, but again, like I said, you can do it in a day. I've shown that video before. You can get it all done in a day if you get something good on the last day. But let's talk about the in-game celebration of Carnage. And we'll kind of go from there a little bit. All right, in terms of in-game Carnage special celebration, we do have a couple of things going on. It does talk about the uniforms that are going to be on sale, as well as Carnage's uniform. Again, his uniform down to 1050. If you haven't picked it up, Punisher's Cosmic Ghost Rider is definitely something that a lot of the majority, for the most part, agree that it's, though a glass cannon, very, very good for Punisher himself. I'm kind of upset that they put this Scarlet Witch one in here, knowing that we're going to probably get a new one soon, but whatever. Sentinel is a must if you don't already have it. Superior Octopus obviously is the best one for a hat character, given that his other uniforms are terrible. Daily check-in, Black Friday, pre-Black Friday or whatever, bios twice, so 100 bios total, which is great. 200 crystals, fine, great. IOSOA sets, definitely roll those. I will be doing that for all of my characters that don't have a set, as well as ones that I'm being reworked. Gold bonus, always nice to kind of pick those up if you can. Don't go out of your way to spend gold, but because at the end of the day, the rewards aren't that much to write home about. But if you do spend it, definitely remember to pick it up. Energy bonus missions. This again, don't go out of your way to spend the energy. You should if you're playing normally on a day-to-day, you should spend 3,000 energy over the course of 7 days. So that's not a big deal. This is a nice carrot, but it's not, again, not very much, especially if you can, you play null once, you play null 5 times in a day, you'll get literally, quadruple that. And a silk ranking event. So that's essentially what we got going on this week. Not a whole lot. This is really kind of copy and paste, typical stuff that we see whenever we get a new character. But that's kind of all I got for this this week coming up. Thanks again for stopping by, checking out the stream. I apologize for being late, but always comments, streams, and stuff like that, likes and subscribes. That's always going to get me to do more videos about what I feel like is a game that's been very, very good, but having a tough time very, very recently. So until next time, guys, stay strong, be well, do good, and I will see you soon.